Okay, I'm starting to think. We talking about this Lizzie Borden thing, and the fact of the matter is, um, her mom passed away, and then several years later, her dad gets remarried, and then all of a sudden tensions start rising in the house when we get to talking about money. Things get messy when we start to talking about money, and wills start to get, I mean, that's wills start to get changed, trusts start to get changed, and you start to mess in the pensions, start to get transferred from one beneficiary to the next. You start to have a problem. You know what I mean? I remember one time, man. I remember one time when I was working for a company, man, and we were a benefits administration company, and yo, these people are crazy. I remember somebody had called in. Man. I don't know these people. Somebody had called in, and it sounded like several people in the background, and they're like, can you look up this information? I'm married to this person, so on and so forth. And I'm checking up the information that they're giving me, and I'm like, yo, you're not on the account. And they're like, I should be on the count. I'm the wife. And it's like, well, I don't see you on the count. Oh, well, the thing about it is I'm the ex-wife. Okay, that's probably why. Was the information updated? Well, he may have, but he shouldn't have, because going down the line. Why? But what the thing was is that what you ended up having was, and they were talking to me, and I was just trying to catch up. Look, man, I'm just trying to do my job. And what the thing was is that the dude had been married to one sister, and they broke up, divorced, and he went across the street and started dating the other sister, and I guess married the other sister, and switched over the beneficiary paperwork to the other sister. And the first wife, the first sister, when he went to the hospital or whatever, the first sister was calling in like, yo, something might happen. I just want to make sure that this is going to me. This money is going to me. And so I'm telling you, like, people can get real crazy about money. And so apparently it was camp aunt number one, camp aunt number two, and you got to put a stop there. And like, yo, I'm just trying to do my job. And so there's tensions. My point to say is that there's tensions rising around money here. And that's kind of where we start. And so people end up dead, and nobody knows how.
History. The trial began on June 5th, 1893, and according to contemporary commentators,
and they've arrested the daughter that they think has done it.
The Lizzie Borden case was far more important than the Chicago World's Fair. Lizzie's trial wouldn't disappoint when it came down to sensational events in the courtroom. At one point, the prosecution displayed Andrew and Abby's skulls to the court, causing Lizzie to collapse in the courtroom. Judges ruled Lizzie's inquest testimony was inadmissible, as she did not have legal counsel at the time, and she was interrogated while under the influence of morphine prescribed by her doctor. The judges also excluded evidence regarding the prussic acid. The defense team did an excellent job of getting state witnesses to contradict themselves and discrediting several of the prosecution's most important arguments. The state asserted, for instance, that no one ever discovered the handle of the weapon because Lizzie burned the shaft because it was covered in blood. This was, however, impossible to prove. In addition, the defense pointed out how clean the hatchet head was and how unlikely it was for Lizzie to clean the weapon and conceal her bloody clothes in a few minutes between Andrew Borden and summoning Bridget Sullivan. When the prosecution suggested that Lizzie may have committed the offense in the nude, the defense simply scoffed it out of court. Lizzie's attorneys also discovered witnesses who had seen a suspicious person near the Borden residence.
Well, no. Like, that's what I'm saying. You got it all wrong. Like, I can commit these unalivings because it said that, the housekeeper woke up to screams. That means I woke you up. I could have went, burned and everything, and then got dressed. You see what I'm saying?
As well as handymen who had been working in the attic shortly before the crimes, casting doubt on the police's footprint evidence. In quick succession, Lizzie's attorneys dismantled the prosecution's case at every turn. Lizzie Borden's trial lasted 2 weeks, and by its end, it appeared that she would be acquitted. The defense had effectively prevented key prosecution witnesses from testifying and portrayed Lizzie as a virtuous woman incapable of committing such an atrocity.
Absolutely.
In fact,
because her demeanor at its nicest point would be that, oh, and she knows how to play it. Oh, I'm just falling all over the place. Oh, I'm just, you're on, or I'm just tired. Oh my goodness, I'm just you can imagine I've had to take a medicine to put me out of my mind because of, my mom. And oh, no. Well, of course, my stepmother, we had problems, but I would never, so she's dramatic.
Before sending the jury to deliberate, one of the judges admonished them to take Lizzie's Christian character into account when deciding her fate. When the 12 men of the
That's
jury returned
crazy.
after only 90 minutes, according to some accounts they reached a verdict in 30 minutes and waited so as not to appear suspicious, Lizzie Borden was found innocent. Lizzie screamed with
12 men that probably thought she was cute. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm just saying, man, 12 men, you got an heiress to some money. 12 men that probably looked at her and was like, yo, she's kind of cute, man. I don't see it. I don't see she's look at her. She just looks like she's in dire straits. She could never do anything like this. I'm just saying, man, people do some crazy stuff. People do some weird stuff. They think some very crazy ways. It is what it is.
the light upon hearing the verdict, a sentiment shared by the majority of the media. While it is true that the state failed to prove Lizzie's guilt, it is also true that the all-male jury was likely influenced by the attitudes of the time. People in 1893 could not believe that Lizzie, a Sunday school teacher from a wealthy family, could have committed such a heinous crime. In addition, since Massachusetts had...
That's like Jodi Arias. She was so small. She's so small. They were like, was she like 5 something, 5'2"? She couldn't do this. No dude that's like 6 foot something.
not executed a woman since 1778, this jury was likely not eager to become the first jury to do so for over 100 years. Lizzie left the courtroom a free woman, and the murder of Andrew and Abby Borden remain unresolved to this day. After starring in the trial that captivated the nation, Lizzie Borden put her father's money to good use by buying a home in an affluent neighborhood and named her home Maplecroft. Lizzie and Emma shared a home, but their relationship soon soured and her sister moved out. In addition to buying a new home, Lizzie changed her name to Lizbeth and traveled to major cities such as Boston and New York, but she was unable to escape her past. Even though she was acquitted, the citizens of Fall River continued to harbor suspicions. Lizzie Borden was gradually shunned. Lizzie eventually became ill, and after a year of health problems, she passed away in June 1927. As you can imagine, nobody attended the funeral. She was buried next to her parents. So, what could have prompted Lizzie Borden to brutally murder her parents?
Well, hold on. You sent your sister away, and your sister comes back to her parents. It's like to my mom and my dad and my stepmom being unalived. I may not have liked my stepmom like that. I may not have, but that's not to say that I you know what I mean, I wanted this to happen. And so it's probably the case that the relationship soured because they got in the house, first of all. And that's why I said Menendez brothers. That's why I said it's giving me Menendez brothers vibes. Because now, and I'm not negating or thinking about one way or the other is the assault on the Menendez brothers. But what I'm saying is the very act of unaliving the parents and then going and spending and going on a shopping spree because they went on a shopping spree. That's what I'm talking about. And the same here, Lizzie, she gets, she unalives her parents, she gets the money, and guess what? Like I always wanted, I'm going straight to the top. I don't want to live in this modest house. Because your dad's values, but I'm gonna go over here and I'm buy me the house in the neighborhood I always wanted to. It is what it is. But her sister was probably like, you got this off of ill-gotten gains. And you just gonna sit up here and act like nothing happened. Oh, just put it behind you. Stop talking to me about it. And so her sister's like, nah, I can't do it. So that's rough. And so then from there, she feels isolated. She feels bad about what she's done while telling herself she didn't. But the stress, we know from research, Candace Pert, the body mind research, there is a connection, and other research I can't remember, but something to do with the microbiome. But that research talks about how very what we might call intangible things might impact the tangible. And so we might just think, it's just like, say, for example, your gut health. Your gut health might influence your emotions, right? And so it's a very strong thing. But the stress of the emotions or neurotransmitters or neuropeptides that sort of are intangible in a way that shouldn't affect your body in any kind of way. Those signals of emotions kind of interplay with your body, and there's a stress, like we call it chronic stress, that interplays with your body. And so even though you're mentally sick, you begin to feel physically sick, and so that physical sickness leads to death. So that could be the case.
Andrew Borden was one of the wealthiest individuals in Fall River, with an estate valued at approximately...
Especially being alone. Especially being, by herself.
But little was spent to make the Borden's life more comfortable. In 1887, when Andrew gave a home to Abby's sister, the situation deteriorated further. Emma and Lizzie believed that their father preferred his in-laws to his own flesh and blood. And this allegedly made the Borden household somewhat hostile.
That's what I said.
Add to that the fact that the Borden sisters never liked their stepmother, and you have the makings of a double axe. Do you think Lizzie Borden killed her parents? Please leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you.
So, I think to me, it's pretty clear. It was Lizzie. She had the motive. She had the opportunity. I think that her personality kind of led to that. She was a little bit more involved and more active in being upset with her stepmother and subsequently her dad's actions. She feels like her dad was being controlled in a way by her stepmother. And so, I got to deal with dad because dad's going crazy, and, dad is out of his mind giving this woman everything. And then I got to deal with the mom because it's like, your stepmom, because it's like, how dare you come up in my house and start taking everything that I love and start changing the very fabric of what it means for my family to be a family. That's very unfortunate. And I can't say it was motivated all by money. I can't say it was all motivated by money because I don't think it was. But I think money was a trigger. I think money was the last straw. They didn't like you anyway, and they felt very protective about, you're trying to take something from us. Could have been anything. Could have been the house. Could have been cars. Could have been anything that she didn't have before. But now you're coming in. You didn't work for it. They feel like she didn't work for it, and it's just like, if she had come in with some money, it probably wouldn't have been a problem. But they feel like she didn't work for it, so they're like, yo, like you're just any old person. You're not cute enough, so why would dad get with you? And so we feel like you manipulated that in some way. So, but that's crazy, man. But that's the video. Comment, share, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Did you expect it to be Lizzie? Did you expect it to be the sister? Maybe it's somebody outside. Do you think it was the uncle? Let me know what you think. But until next time, take it easy.